All right, then. Anything to talk about today, Moan?
Not a thing, DK.
Absolutely. All right, signing
not
off, everyone. See you all Monday.
That's essentially what happened today. Wow, dog. Oh, you want to intro this thing? What you want to do, DK?
Kenny Pickett has been traded to the Philadelphia Eagles for a swap of picks. The Steelers get a late third rounder that was an Eagles comp pick, and they get 2 7th-rounders. That's the return for a 2022 first rounder. That's a sign we need to go ahead and hit this bell, man. Okay. You want to do that so we can just dive all the way in? No. The bell is your job. That's all you.
And while we do the commercial break, hit that like button, like, subscribe, send this to a friend, share all those good things. Smile is going to be a big one. Let's roll.
Lots and lots to talk about. Not just Kenny Pickett being traded. That somehow is just somewhere in the middle of the list of a week in which the Steelers picked up Patrick Queen, picked up help me out the safety. I forgot already. There's so much going on.
I know it's so
really
going on.
Good safety too.
Jeez. Give me one.
Yeah, we're gonna struggle for the name of this.
I
safety.
know, man. Deshaun Elliott. Deshaun Elliott. God,
very good football player. No slight to him. It's just as my brain is all rattled here today.
I wasn't even ready for that one right now. DK.
They picked up Russell Wilson too. I heard.
They signed Russell Wilson officially, and that also resulted in Kenny Pickett being traded. DK, being traded, man.
And it's funny because when it happened, I got a text from a certain guy who used to wear 73 for this team that said something to the effect of,
wow. Well, it was way more than that, DK.
There was more than that.
I was like, did we call it?
That was you.
That was me. Did we call it? And you said, what in the world and not in that? And again, this ain't no pile on Kenny situation. This is essentially, what did you say a month ago? Don't listen to what they say.
Watch what they do.
Watch what they do. Watch what they do. And they've said a lot, and they've tried to protect Kenny. They've gone a lot of different ways and saying he's our guy, because what you didn't want to do publicly is say, yeah, it's going to be a competition. You don't want to say publicly, yeah, it's going to be Kenny's job, or Kenny's got to earn it. You can't say those things because you devalue your guy. But what they did was, Russell Wilson went to New York, the Giants, who are also in quarterback purgatory, right? DK, you'd agree with that with Daniel Jones.
Oh, yeah.
He left New York, took a flight to Pittsburgh. People took pictures of him in the airport on a Pittsburgh flight. Whether that was photoshopped or not, he was on the Pittsburgh flight and landed. And DK, he did not leave. He had other options. I think Atlanta was on the table. Chicago essentially was on. He didn't visit those people. He went to Pittsburgh and didn't leave Pittsburgh when they had their air quotation marks for the people listening on podcasts. They had their franchise quarterback. You know what you do with those air quotation marks, DK? Blow them up.
Yeah, right.
That wasn't your franchise quarterback. You was just trying to figure out how to make this happen. And I told y'all, I don't want to do this. I told you but I told you guys, you can't sign Russ. You can absolutely not sign Russell Wilson and think you can have Kenny Pickett as your starter and make Russ your backup. He's too strong of a personality. He's too big of a player. He's
just
won
achieved
a Super
too much.
Bowl.
We agreed on that instantly.
Much.
The moment that he showed
up,
he was the starting quarterback. There was never a debate there.
Way too much. And also this too. And I know his salary plays a huge part in this. It does. But you had a guy that played really good down the stretch, okay? Really good down the stretch, and then you let him walk in free agency too, as far as Mason Rudolph goes. The signs was on the wall. It were. Like, it was up there, and we just had to wait this out.
And here we are. The quarterback situation has now gone from 3 players who split the duties in some form in 2023 to none of those players being around as of an hour ago, and only Russell Wilson is in the quarterback room, which obviously begs the next question, which is who else is on the way, because you can't do this. You can't have a quarterback room where a dude sits by himself, no matter how good he is.
Can't
so
twirl your thumbs.
I'm going to throw at you, and I have been the first one to dismiss the Justin Fields stuff. I have, that.
Out.
I just thought it made
There's been no need. No, to be fair,
no need.
Right. Okay, there you go. All right.
Right. No. I'm not saying that I was like wrong or something. It's just like it didn't make any sense. Well, now maybe it does.
Maybe it does. And it does because of this. Chicago is out here making deals and making stuff happen themselves, right? Mm-hmm. And on top of that, DK, for a fact, they just traded for Keenan Allen. They just got a boatload of wide receivers and weapons to help out Chicago, because the people that I've talked to in NFL circles, they do somewhat believe that Caleb Williams is a generational talent. Think what you want, but they know a lot of people have said since he was a freshman in high school, that is the next number one overall pick.
They're not passing him up.
They're not passing
him up.
No, they're not passing him up. So what do you do in that situation? Do you keep Justin Fields? It doesn't hurt to keep him. It really doesn't hurt to keep Justin Fields in Chicago. But can you keep him there when you know him and Caleb Williams are friends, number one, and they also got to compete for a job that you drafted number one overall pick for? Justin Fields, I think, was number 10 or 11, if I'm not mistaken, as far as where he was drafted at. 10 and 11 is not like number one. Okay, that value is through the roof. And Pittsburgh accumulating those 7th round picks, those 2 7th-round picks. I said for myself, how do you get Justin Fields? I was thinking, okay, maybe give up a 5th, because they got to get rid of him. And they know you need a quarterback. So I justifiably may give you a 5th, or on the scale index, I give you a 6 and a 7. They got 3 7s right now as it stands. I can give you 2 7s and a 6, and that's good enough for Justin Fields right now. I'll keep my 5.
Well, you got a lot of different ways that you can go at the position right now, but I think another thing that's worth bringing up is that when you're looking at this offense, remember that Mason Cole is gone. Deontay Johnson is gone. Okay, you're starting to now get into a chunk, and if they change tackles, from Dan Moore to somebody else in some other form, now all of a sudden, I don't know, man. I kind of like the offense that I saw at the end of this past season, and I liked some of the chemistry, and I liked some of the movement and the versatility and the dynamism and everything else. And now between all of that and, of course, a new offensive coordinator, a new playbook, we're looking at something that's just wholly different here, other than Najee and Jalen, really.
Yeah, and the other thing behind that,
and George.
Move. Yeah, we got it's talent there. So George Pickens is your number one as it stands right now. I do think he still needs help. 100% needs a Batman. I mean, a Robin or somebody strong.
I think he needs a Batman.
Yeah, he needs a Batman. Oh, yeah, 100%. And you said something. We talked about something the other day too, DK, with all these moves that's being made, right? We've been saying the Steelers have been flying here. They've been on autopilot the entire. Heck, if we've been honest, about the last 7 years, been on autopilot as far as how they've competed and how they've done stuff. There has to be an uptick as far as production, as far as playoff wins, as far as everything else when it comes down to the expectation of what the culture is in Pittsburgh. That's where I'm standing. And we also said going into this offseason, Coach Tomlin's got to go all in. This is a part of it too, DK.
Yep.
Where there has to be an answer for first-round knockouts as far as the playoffs go. And I ain't saying he's on a hot seat. We said, 1-2 maybe as far as Coach Tomlin's job security and that type of and that conversation. But there has to be progress, and there has to be the ability to show that this team is actually competing for a Super Bowl. Now, if this deconstruction is a part of it, because they have deconstructed a lot, DK.
Yes, they have.
It at least shows me that he's trying to submit himself to saying, all right, we'll go a different direction. You had no in-house elevation as far as the offensive coordinator goes. Terrell Austin, say what you want to about him. I think he proved it last year, considering what the offense provided him as far as help. He called a good defense. They do need help on that side of the ball too. But there's a whole lot of movement. I see somebody right now saying, Robert saying, talk about a shakeup. Yeah, it's a little bit of a shakeup right now on 3400 South Water Street.
Yeah, I mean, certainly at the most important position. I don't know that you can shake a room up more than to jettison the entire room, you know?
Yeah.
But they did a lot of stuff, you
Yeah.
know? They did a lot of stuff here, and they still, well, Curtis is bringing up that you can draft a quarterback and sign a vet to compete. This is Russ's team. There's no question this is Russell Wilson's team. But I think if you look at bringing in Justin Fields, if that's a thing, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm not suggesting that it is. I've heard nothing to support that. But if you were to bring in someone like him and you did it in a kind of a Dwayne Haskins kind of way.
Let him grow.
Yeah, that was the idea with bringing Dwayne here, was that he was in a 3 and he was getting minimum, but it was understood that, hey, listen, if he were to rise up, you know, he was going to be given a chance here. And to his credit, you know, his final days, he was making progress. He was a great teammate and everything else. So
yeah, I'm super fascinating with everything that's happened, man. I'm trying to find out what we ended up getting for Deontay. I think it was a swap of picks. As far as it was concerned for him, I did not see that one coming. We didn't get on to talk about that one either. I don't know what Deontay saw, if he asked for a trade either, but it happened.
He wanted out. He wanted out. Yeah,
he wanted out. So he's in the last year of his contract,
which is why he wanted out.
So he gets an opportunity to either get an extension or be in a spot to where he can become the guy in Carolina.
Which he wasn't going to get an extension here, and he knew that, which is why he wanted out. It wasn't any kind of acrimony or anything like that. He wanted to get out so he could build up his contract year as best as possible.
Yeah, so the swap was a player swap. I mean, was a player swap pick. Well, yeah. The Steelers end up acquiring Dante Jackson and a 2024 6th-round pick with Deontay going to Carolina.
Yeah, they didn't get enough. They knew that.
But you can't, though, when that's the situation right
there.
They
didn't want him in the AFC, Moan, so they sent him over not just to the NFC, but they sent him to a crappy team, which you'll notice is the new MO. The volunteers, not hostages thing. Oh, you want out? You want out? Ladies and gentlemen, the Chicago Bears, the Carolina Panthers. Come on. You see that, don't you?
Yeah.
Frank says we could have kept Mason Rudolph for $5 million is what Frank says. You could have kept him probably for less than that. Yeah. But all of this would have had to have happened in a certain order, which is one of the things, maybe the main thing that I'm questioning about all this. How did you not anticipate that bringing in Russell Wilson was going to cause Kenny to blow his top? You know his personality. You saw how he reacted to losing his starting job. This was not something he was going to take well, right?
No, absolutely.
And that's why you said what you said last week, which is you thought we could see him getting traded because of this.
100%.
How do you not see that if you're the Steelers and say, hey, Mason, can you do us a favor here? We'll outpay anybody. Just hang around for a couple more days.
I don't think they had that plan and intention. And I also think Russ's $1.2 million, like I said, it took the legs out of out from under Mason in that type of deal. Mason, I think got like $3.6 million.
That's correct.
From the Titans. By the way, wrapped with my guy, man. He's doing well here, okay? Glad for him, man. But the $1.2 million from Russ, that changed the entire complex of the entire room for the quarterbacks in Pittsburgh to me. I mean, think about this. Say what you want to about Russ. To get a Super Bowl winning quarterback, a guy that's been around the league for a while, and I'm not bigging him up, I'm just calling it what it is. When you get a guy like him in the room and you can sign him to be able to extend what you got going forward with a new coordinator, or the idea that, look, we'll see what happens, and if Russ sucks, then we're picking in the top 10. You got insurance that either you're going to be better than you were because Kenny didn't progress, or you're going to be picking in the top 10 because Russ may not be able to play. You can't intentionally lose, but there are certain situations you can put yourself in that you make your team a top 10 pick.
Slap says, does this give Mike Tomlin an excuse to have a bad year this year? No, quite the opposite.
I don't think it's now. Here's
look at what they're doing.
I just said the exact same thing. So you got your middle linebacker we talked about, Patrick Queen, DK.
Yeah, that's not messing around.
Deshaun Elliott, by the way, I talked to some people that knew him. Said that he is a human lightning rod. Okay, but you got to keep him healthy. He got to stay on the field. So he has no issue with throwing his face in the fan. His play a smart guy, gonna always be there when he can, but you have to keep him on the field as far as his injuries and the playing time that he get. I had some people that I know that was jealous of that sign. It's like, how in the heck did you guys do that? But he came over to the dark side and left Baltimore when it comes down to it. And the same thing goes for Patrick Quinn. We spoke about him a little bit, man, and just they're making moves to put themselves in position. This to me is overly fascinating because we've never seen this team. DK, it's still the first week of free agency. There's never been as much.
There's a long way to go. There's a long way to go. Certainly not with the Steelers. A long way to go, but there's also the draft. They have lots of holes still to fill, but they're in a nice position to do that with some of those. I'm happy, says, draft another quarterback and let him learn under Russ. You can do that, but do you really want to be investing high picks in quarterback right now? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is going to be. I mean, you talk about there's a million possible offshoots to this conversation, but this is another. Kevin Colbert shouldn't have been allowed the opportunity to draft Kenny. Kevin had said himself he wanted to be that guy who left the Steelers with their next franchise quarterback. They put in a ton of time, a ton of work, a ton of passion into that process. And guess what? They got stuck with the worst quarterback draft class in human history. The only remotely decent quarterback out of that entire group was the last player taken overall. And he's better than remotely decent. That wasn't a shot at him. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But look at the entire rest of the class. Remember when Malik Willis was a big deal?
Yep, I remember that. That's why with this draft season coming around, don't listen to a thing they say. Believe what they do. This is the season of lies. Pittsburgh will probably be they'll probably be attached to so many people moving forward because everybody knows they need a quarterback. That is the other side of it too. I don't know if they're in this Justin Fields sweepstakes, like legitly in it, but you have nothing but one quarterback. It may cost more than what I just said a second ago, those sevens that they just got, or it may cost a fifth. But if you think highly of Justin Fields, and I see a lot of people dropping Ryan Tannehill's name in this conversation too. This right here, DK, that's crazy. Save that one for a second too, that over 2,000. But Fields is coming. It's what Roland said. To me, what is it, better than getting Tannehill or Garoppolo? I'll say this too. Think about what you just said though. Like Tannehill and Garoppolo backing up Russell Wilson. That almost doesn't make sense to me. These are league starters with an older guy. Right. I don't think you can put an older guys behind an old starter himself either. So insane.
Guys, when we come back, we're going to take more of your questions. And even though we've been doing that already, this one actually for real is going to be the only segment that matters. And this is the one. Everything else was just, not that.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
Boom. Okay. So 600 likes, the boss says. She's dissatisfied with that figure. We've got 2,300 people. And we've got 600 likes. The reason we asked for that is not for some vanity thing or whatever. It adds to the algorithm. It shows the show to more people. It's kind of a YouTube decision. It reads off the algorithm. Yeah. KD says, I was so depressed before free agency. I've never seen this Steelers organization be so aggressive, and I love it. This is what the good teams are doing now. KD, I don't know about that. I think what happens with something like this is just my opinion, is that you can get Clevelanded in this process where you go, oh man, I mean, a couple of days have gone by and I haven't had anything Steelers to talk about. Boom. And then you go, this is awesome. This is great. Doesn't matter. Look at the moves. Look at the moves in and of themselves.
One thing I will say, they addressed some good stuff though.
They did.
The Deshaun Elliott signing. We talked about Minka being
like
able
him.
to do what Minka does. I like Deshaun Elliott. I do. Saw some of his tape. The people I've talked to speaking about him like him also. Health. Okay, health. But of course, you got young guys in the room already that you hope in year 2 grow, right, DK? You hope those dudes get a Miles Killebrew, by the way, re-signed back this week too.
Miles Killebrew. Guess who else re-signed yesterday? We're not getting through this show without mentioning him.
Talk about him.
Who's the nose tackle at the top of the depth chart, Moan?
Montravius Adams. Very fair team deal.
Who is at the top of the depth chart? Nose tackle.
Coach Carl Dunbar is high on him. Yeah, for reasons.
Adams for 2 years. I like that a lot.
Look at that.
For no reason. What the heck?
Out of here.
It's this stupid Apple thing. I don't know if you do like this or you do hearts. Was it hearts or explosions?
Hearts. Yeah, you got to keep the hearts up. But here's the thing, though. That's it. Explosions. You said it. No, Dolly did that. But here's the thing, though. So you got your middle linebacker.
Yes.
You got Deshaun Elliott.
Yes.
Well, you got a piece, an off-ball line.
Yeah, you need one more. Yeah.
Deshaun Elliott, you got him. You signed Montravius, right? You made some moves. You got rid of Kenny. Here's the
punter. Don't forget the
punter. They're football players too.
Cameron Johnston.
They're football players too, man. I want to address something too right after this too. But you put pieces in place, right? And just said to yourself, okay, this is what's next. And it gives you flexibility as far as the draft. It gives you ability to move up and move back. I see somebody a second ago. Can we talk about wide receivers? I do think that is a point to be made. Wide receivers have to be acquired, whether through the draft or another free agent or two out there.
Or both.
Yes. I got one right after you get done with Chris right here, DK.
Well, Chris says, do we think that this signals moving up in the draft for quarterback this year? I'm sure it's going to open up the conversation. But, Moan, how tough is it to get up there, and how big of a risk are you taking? You've seen the hit rate.
Yeah, no
on
doubt.
top 10 quarterbacks, right?
And that's the thing about it, man, Chris, is this. Picking that top 10 pick, unless it's the for sure guy, Trevor Lawrence, okay, Joe Burrow, Cam Newton, right? We can name off a bunch of guys that just, that's the dude.
Yeah, and you know it right away.
Peyton Manning, you knew it automatically, right? And it's just a few I'm throwing out there. To sacrifice your franchise, go get that dude when it really is about surrounding the franchise quarterback, then hoping that that guy can take you up top. Yes, I want a boatload of talent out of him. I don't want to be guessing. After this draft, to me, Jaden Daniels, I feel like you're guessing at quarterbacks this year.
Okay.
That's how I feel. I like Caleb and I like Jaden Daniels. After those two, you're guessing on if they're going to be good. Good quarterbacks, to me, they are game managers. I don't know if these dudes can manage games the way we think they can.
Sean Manahan's trying to stir it up here, bringing Keanu Benton in.
I didn't know it was a competition.
We know what Keanu can do.
Yeah.
We just happen to love Mon Adams.
And his coach does too.
And we don't apologize for it. The defensive line coach loves Mon Adams. And when Carl Dunbar loves somebody, that's good enough for me.
He's a legend in this game. He's coached a ton of players.
He is. When he says Mon Adams is the guy, look, we're being silly here to an extent.
Yeah.
We know Keanu.
We know Keanu's Rufus.
Maybe you're new, Sean. We're just.
Yeah, no.
I love having him in there as support. I love having him in there as a potential rotation piece. When you're talking about an older Cam Hayward, an older Larry Ogunjobi, Jersey Swords just got himself banned from the show forever. What is that?
Jersey?
Do you not watch the games?
Jersey, what we doing?
Dude, that hurts so bad. Where's my violin?
See, God, now you got DK out here upset over you saying he's trash, man. What are we talking about? Can I make a football one right here, DK? You're right.
Sure.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
A football personality trait that I don't think works too well. And it has, but it depends on the type of plays you can make. It's James B.
Mm-hmm.
This goes back to your question, or the question that was asked to Kenny. What did you learn while being on the sideline? Or did you learn anything while being on the sideline? You remember that question?
Yeah.
No.
Remember his answer? No.
No.
Yeah. Did you learn anything from watching Mason Rudolph running the offense? No. Kenny
James.
but that doesn't mean that everyone's got license to make up stuff about Kenny. And I'm already seeing some of that
Please
happen
don't.
today on social
Yeah.
media. Okay. There's no need to kick him on the way out the door, especially
No.
if you're a professional reporter. Okay. A professional veteran reporter. Don't be doing stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Kenny has a pride or confidence or ego or whatever it is, whatever term you'd want to use to describe it. Okay.
One of them words.
He has it the size of this room. Okay. And he took his initial benching hard. He took it hard when he wasn't allowed to play when he was injured. Okay. But that doesn't mean that he refused to suit up in Seattle or anything. Read my Friday Insider today for the full story on that from somebody who was actually in the room for this. And if I told you who the source was, you wouldn't doubt it for a second. This is a guy who really sees himself as being an NFL starting quarterback. I wouldn't begrudge him that. What's the coach say about Woe and Sikkim?
I'd rather say Woe than Sikkim.
Yeah. He'd rather have that out of his quarterback's personality, Mike Tomlin, than whatever. But it can go too far.
Yeah.
It can go too far. And there's no way Kenny took the Russell Wilson thing well. There's no way.
And me knowing Coach Tomlin and how that front office and that team is, that type of stuff just won't fly because it takes away from the team. Your teammates feel you or see you or read you saying, what did you learn? Did you learn anything from Mason Rudolph? And you say, no, you can't repair that at that point right there. And I put that comment up there for this reason. You got to grow and be mature and also put your ego to the side when you have bad days. I've had bad days at the office, on the field. Y'all have seen it. But you know what you do?
Like
Straight
compartmentalize
face.
it. Yeah.
Keep that here. Go talk to your psychiatrist, whatever you got to do. But you don't show that type of stuff unless DK, because people will say, well, AB or this guy or Ben or Pounce. You better be a hell of a football player to be able to be that type of person. Seeing AB throwing coolers on the sideline, he was all Pro Bowl, 1,200, 1,400 yards a year. Kenny ain't that type of player yet. And he ain't got the right to do that type of stuff in your second year.
I would agree with that.
Okay.
I would agree. And that was why I found the behavior around the whole, Mason Rudolph comes in and does better with the offense. I found that to be off-putting.
Okay.
Tony Rodriguez reminds us that they also signed Christian Kuntz, the long snapper. Have you seen the viral video of him at the charity booth?
No.
Somebody comes up to him at this booth, just a fan wearing some kind of, I don't know, like Heinz Ward jersey or something. And Christian says, so who's your favorite player? I mean, of course, has no idea who the hell Christian Kuntz is, right? That's part of the gag.
Yeah.
And the guy said, I don't have any. I'm just whoever's on my fantasy team. The longer you're around as a fan, the more you learn to understand that the Steelers don't pay my bills. He said the Steelers don't pay your bills. And Christian Kuntz is looking at him and he goes, and the guy walks away and he looks at the camera and goes, Steelers pay my bills.
He's a funny dude. He also wants to jump into sports media sometime soon. So I might have to get him on because specialists always have the best conversations too. By the way,
that's not a bad idea. Mike in Texas offers congratulations to say Pittsburgh native. He's Penn Hills native.
Penn Hills.
AD would correct you on that. Penn Hills native Aaron Donald. That's just to the east of Pittsburgh, but there's some Penn Hills pride in that. Penn Hills Indians. Brilliant career, obviously. I mean, collegiate career, his NFL career. He's going to be remembered as one of the better defenders of all time and someone who legitimately, this term gets overused, Moan, legitimately changed his position.
He did. He made it all right for guys to be smaller D tackles and be that type of player 100%. DK, I have to I'll ask you this question right here. If somebody wanted to create a vote or ballot to say Aaron Donald gets into the Hall of Fame this year, what do you think the success rate will be?
Wait, what do you mean by this year? You mean like skipping
he's that good. He was that legendary. In this era of players, we hadn't seen a defensive player do what he did. I'm saying
when is the last
time?
When is the last time I'm checking that the Pro Football Hall of Fame skip the waiting period.
I don't think they ever have.
Yeah, you have to be careful with that.
It's 5.
Yeah, I'm saying I don't know that they've ever done it.
Yeah.
And if anyone has, let us know. I don't recall any such situation. I know that you have to be careful as a voting member of the Baseball Hall of Fame. I know that it happened for Roberto Clemente under obviously beyond extraordinary circumstances. They had him in that summer after his tragic and heroic death. In hockey, it's happened twice for exactly the 2 players that you would expect, Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux.
Wow.
So you don't want to, and even then, after they did it with Mario, they said they don't want to do it anymore in the future.
Okay. All right. That's a deeper conversation to have right there.
Yeah. So I don't know. But now that said, AD's first ballot,
Easily.
he can start getting fitted now.
Right now, DK. All right, for sure. I got a good one right here. It's not even a contribution, but I think this is fair right here. I like this.
All right.
One. Frankie Rice. What up, Frank? Says, hey, Mon, how can you defend Mike Tomlin, his decision on signing Russell Wilson? I ain't defending it. I'm not. Did I ever defend it?
I'm not sure what Frank's even referring to here.
No, this ain't no defense of Coach Tomlin signing Russell Wilson. This is football business handling itself. I love that, Dennis. Oh, my bad. I love that, Dennis. Dennis said trade for Mason. I think that the conversation sticks to you didn't have your franchise quarterback in Kenny Pickett.
Jesse Johnson says, I'm sorry, but if you have Michael Penix on the board, you got to take him. Okay, you won't have him on the board. Do you think he'll be on the board?
I think he'll fall. I do.
Okay.
I see Michael Penix Jr. as a second, third round quarterback pick.
I think that if you're the Steelers, you have to, if you look at the first round specifically and say there's a quarterback there that we absolutely love, regardless of where he's ranked by other people or whatever else here, that we see as, Arthur Smith kind of quarterback, whatever it is that is your criteria.
Right.
I wouldn't have a problem with them taking one. Not now.
Yeah. No, Michael Penix Jr., Peter, the thing that you got to deal with, you playing a very physical AFC North, and he's coming into the league with a ton of injuries already. I think both knees, a shoulder, a neck. Like, he's got a lot under his medical. It's documented. Just look up Michael Penix Jr.
Jeff says, can we argue with AD being top 5 ever for defensive line? I think and boy, this is a point Cam Hayward makes while pounding his fist on something. Separate interior and edge rushers. Okay, so you say defensive line, and all of a sudden you start throwing every Reggie White into the mix here. It's a different discussion. Do you follow?
Yeah, but big time difference right there.
So that's 30. What's it say?
30 G's.
30 G's and Steven are coming in with more gifts.
Hey, appreciate y'all, man.
The boss is appreciative of that. Francesco wants to know what you think of Mason joining you down there in Nashville.
Good for Mason. He gets an opportunity to do a little bit of what he did as far as supporting the guy. Right now, Will Levis is their franchise starter. But here's the thing. He's just in his second year. He's got to improve from like a 55% completion rate to show that he's the franchise guy moving forward. What Mason has done, though, I'll say this, is set himself up that if he is making second-year mistakes or sophomore slump, Mason can waltz right on in and command that offense. They like Mason down here, man.
I have really kind of a skewed view of Will Levis because I feel like I saw him have one of his better games here in Pittsburgh. He was really impressive. Big arm, natural big arm. Ball just explodes out of his hand. But at the same time, he did have ups and downs, didn't he?
He did. But he also had a trash offensive line.
Okay.
And the other thing, he had a little bit of that Kenny too, to where he got to protect himself, running out of the pocket and trying to play hero. That don't last in this league right here. But Mason's excited about his signing, man. Nashville's going to fit him well.
Yeah, this needs to stop, the whole trading to get Mason back. You're not doing that.
We said some what you can't do, but I don't think that one's I think that one's real right there.
Yeah, everybody's all over this concept, and it's not going to happen. The Tennessee Titans have a quarterback Mason told you he's happy there, right?
Yeah, he did, man. He's excited to be here. He's on his media tour and everything right now. I'm looking forward to seeing him and come by the house at some point too.
Oh,
yeah.
that's today, the media tour and everything.
Yeah,
See, you don't do that and then just get traded back to your old team a week later. It's not going to. So no, Don. And the answer to that is no. Mason Rudolph is a Tennessee Titan.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett is a Philadelphia Eagle. Mitch Trubisky is a Buffalo Bill, and only Russell Wilson is a Pittsburgh Steeler. This is actually the best and smartest solution I've come up with. This is where we ought to end right here, right? Huh?
No, DK, we got to give them what they want. Colin Harris says we should trade for Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, you and everybody else in the NFL.
That is correct. Make sure you bring in Mr. Taylor Swift too. He can come along,
Kelsey,
for the ride as well here. Brandon wants to bring Tyler Boyd back home. When I say back home, I'm not just referring to Pitt. He's a Clareton kid. He's as Pittsburgh as it gets. That said, that really doesn't matter anywhere near as much as whether or not he can be a good fit for you. What do you think of where Tyler is right now?
He's a chains mover, DK. I got to give him that, man.
Always has been.
Always been a chains mover. A guy that you like on your squad. He's a veteran. He also has the age component of it. But I am getting more and more adapted to saying that age really don't matter, DK. That's kind of where I am on it, man. For dudes like him, Tyler Boyd, 29, I don't think it's as big as an issue that it used to be. If you get him on a 1 or 2 year deal, something very team friendly, I'm not opposed to it. Is where I'm at on that one. Especially he know how to play in the North.
I think he could be that's a really good point, actually. I think he could be a little bit of a younger Allen Robinson type role for the Steelers, where he comes in and they say, listen, we got George Pickens over here, we got this draft pick over here, and we got this other. We need you to be in charge of the wide receiver room. We need you to be the adult in the room.
And he'd understand that.
Yeah, because even if you do bring Miles Boykin back, Boykin is not going to have that same voice because he's mostly a special teams guy. You know what I'm saying? You got to have that. You got to have some cachet, don't you, in the room?
Yeah, you do, man. And I think Tyler Boyd's that type of dude. Plus, he knows Pittsburgh. You know what I'm saying? Like, he know what the expectations are, too. I ain't opposed to it.
No, that's pretty good. I have a question for you. It has nothing to do with anything.
Okay.
I'm getting all kinds of feedback from people about how I say a certain term, and I want to hear you say it.
What's that?
What position does George Pickens play?
Wide receiver.
So you say it how? Say it again.
Wide receiver. Wide receiver.
So when I say wide receiver, does it sound weird to you?
I didn't hear you sounded like me. Wide receiver.
Yeah, I don't think
I feel like I dropped the D and the E though. I said wide receiver.
Yeah, well, that's different. I'm just talking about where, that people are suggesting that I have the accent on the wrong syllable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, but that's where he also is from, though. Georgia.
I don't know. I don't get that. Like, does he say? Why do you say it like that? Wide receiver.
Why? I say wide pretty much. I just heard myself say wide receiver, W-I receiver. That's
okay,
crazy.
Well, yeah, I actually can't do that for the reasons that the hat was just on. See, this is where we're going today. This show's getting ridiculous now. We're going to bring in Justin Jefferson and Patrick Mahomes.
No. Hey, let me play. Can I play the game?
Mm-hmm.
He has no quarterback as it stands. Now.
No, he does not.
Sam Darnold?
I don't know where they can get one either.
Oh, okay.
Why didn't they go after Mason? The hell's wrong with these people? Did they not watch these games?
Mason got to shake that.
Man, what a stigma.
He got buried. He got buried, man.
He did.
Here's my thing. I ain't opposed to Justin Jefferson. Now, how does he match up with George Pickens? Who cares? Okay, but he has no quarterback. They are pretty much in a reset. They did go get Grenard out of Houston. They got Sam Darnold, but as far as weapons, and then get Aaron Jones and stuff like that. But legitimately, for a dude that will also seek a contract, and you got 2 more years before George got to get paid, I'm looking at him and I'm somewhat side-eyeing that, DK. Like, I'd do something for Justin Jefferson. I would entertain that, especially if I can send some picks their way to kind of help them get back to where they were this year's pick, not future picks as much.
See, Dwight Jefferson has my back here. He says wide receiver. Now, Jedi says wide receiver.
Wide receiver. See, I don't know. I never thought about it.
I didn't either. I just was saying it the way I hear everybody else saying it in the locker room. I hear wide receiver.
Wide receiver. We can say wide out. We can just say receiver. You can just call him X, Y, or not X, Z. Yeah, whatever you want to call him. Slot.
I guess here. Don says, I'm waiting to see the body language of George Pickens after the first 3 or 4 times that Wilson holds the ball or misses him. Well, we have a lot of time to.
No, I'll say this. Correction on that, Don. I like that you said that. But I think George's ability to play backyard football with Russ may actually be big time. I imagined, being playing with a guy like George. Like, think about what he did with AB as far as, hey, you move here and go there. Like, no, I don't know if I'm frowning at Russ holding the ball and playing backyard football with a dude like him. George knows how to get open or can get open, probably better in that state.
And one of the things that happened that was really interesting over those final 4 games with Rudolph at quarterback was that Mason didn't overthink stuff. And he talked about this openly. He said, I have to get the ball to that guy. I get the ball to that guy. I look good. We all look good.
Yeah.
And that's how you ended up with, a 62-yard catch and run touchdown and everything.
Yeah, man.
I think I would certainly, Russ had weapons in Denver, with Jerry Jeudy and these other guys, whatever, but I don't know that he had a George there.
I will continue to say, and there ain't no defense of Russ at all. Don't y'all ever think I'm trying to make this okay that Russ is in Pittsburgh. I do think Sean Payton just wanted a clean slate with his guys. Russ was there before him, and that was an ownership move and stuff like that. There's a lot of dudes that they've shipped out as of late, or they just chose not to keep, and I think this is Sean Payton, let me get my team together situation.
Yeah, this is Sean Payton who had Drew Brees for a decade and a half, and Drew Brees was not this type of quarterback.
Right.
So you're just not going to – you don't break molds that easily,
There you go.
Yeah, I had the moment Sean Payton showed up in Denver, it was the time was taking for Russ to be out. I don't think anybody, whether you're against or in favor of Russell Wilson being here, would argue that point.
You want to hear how crazy NFL circles and perceptions are too? I've heard Russ was a prick, was a tool, a bad teammate, and all those types of things. I've also heard the same thing about Sean Payton. And I've also heard different people say opposite of that. Russ is a great guy, awesome dude. And Sean Payton's an awesome coach, great individual, know how to coach.
You just never know who's having
the truth is somewhere in the middle.
That's part of what's funny about the room that you were in. The one thing you never was anything bad about Mike Tomlin. I thought that was
internally, no,
internally. That's what I'm talking about. Internally, like you never hear anybody that MF or that whatever.
I've had one or two because he can be dismissive in his pressers. That's the only time.
Oh, but that's at us. Who cares? We don't count. I'm talking about you guys, the players, the people who matter. Reporters don't matter.
I'm with you on that one. I've like I said, I've heard people say that about Sean Payton and Russ as far as the bad side, and I've also heard really good sides on both of those individuals. So take it for what you want.
Do you think it's fair, Moan, to give Russ a completely clean slate when he gets to Pittsburgh? Do you feel that that's going to be the approach that's taken by the Steelers? Is there any baggage that comes with him, or does everybody in that room and really maybe the whole city just say, hey, we don't know or care. Let's just deal with what's here?
I think most people in that building will want Russ because you know what Russ is capable of. And here's my thing, though, too, DK. On this side of it, you got a job and I got a job, too, of somewhat covering this team. Well, I cover this team. You cover this team, too, right? When that season kick off, I can admit I turn into a fan. But I'm a critical fan, right, like most other people. Day one, if Russ is your starter, guess what we're going to be doing?
I hear you.
Rolling that daggone towel, DK. He going to get the benefit of the doubt. Because you want them to win and you want your team to win. Say what you want to about Russ. If that effort wins, y'all going to be buying Russ jerseys. And
right here, actually. 224 Fifth Avenue. Open Tuesday through Saturday, noon to 6. Actually, can I tell you something that the boss – can I tell you something that the boss complained about today? Yeah. Can I put you on?
Talk to me, DK.
Okay, she says. Here it comes. What kind of excess inventory do we happen to have in the shop today?
Yeah, it's your fault, dude. Dan gets involved in ordering merchandise one time. One time, and he orders 3XL Kenny Pickett shirts. First of all, why just 3XL? And secondly, like so many of them. So now what? I make a quilt out of them and start giving them out? What do I do? Dude, you gotta stay out of trouble.
We've got a sale, everybody.
Hey,
I'm gonna be paying people to take them.
hey, and this is why
Reacts.
Richard put this up here.
Uh,
This is why you never buy a player's jersey that hasn't
Correct.
done anything.
I don't.
What? Yeah.
Correct.
Hey,
Especially
Richard.
when you're a tiny 500 square foot shop with no space.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Hey.
Good thing he's good at other things.
Stay out of the inventory and ordering stuff, DK.
All right.
I'm out of that business.
I'm out.
All right, we're kicking her back out of the show.
Whoo. I know we got more.
This is a
questions
true
coming.
story, though.
I know
So
it is.
sad.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Actually, somebody
That's
just
true.
walked in and asked. I guess they were listening to the show.
Oh,
For Kenny
man,
Pickett
my.
jerseys.
Kenny Pickett jerseys.
Good
Well, he'll
stuff.
still have his at Pitt.
He says really angry that Mason Rudolph didn't get a break here. I guess today would really underscore that more than anything, even more than Mason signing with Tennessee. Is it like, I mean, there was an opportunity here. I think you're right, Moan. I think you're going to see a real short-lived fussing about this or that, or the first round pick in 2022. But you know, Russell Wilson, we haven't even had a chance to talk about this yet, had a press conference today here, and he impressed, right? I have my Corey Christen, our reporter, was over there. Here, you can just jump right in here.
Come on there, Corey.
Yeah, here.
What's up, Bo?
Did he
up, baby?
impress? Did he impress? How did he do?
I thought he did. He came off genuine. He came off like he knew what opportunity he was going to have. He came off like a guy that knew that he had something to make up for, given his time in Denver and how rocky that went, so to speak. So I think he's refreshing his mindset. I think he meant well. And he talked a lot about, I just published a story. He talked a lot about how he wants to remain the best version of himself and how he wants to get back to
He
it.
used that line a lot, didn't he?
Yeah.
Best version of myself.
Yeah.
Best version of myself.
He even did that when directly asked about potentially competing with Kenny. And this was hours before.
He knew.
Unless he knew,
He knew.
then yeah.
Yeah.
So
Simone.
what's
Here.
up, baby?
Oh, you got something to say. You got something
Yeah,
to say.
I
Here.
do.
Here.
So that was, man, I've never talked to Russ before. Never had this conversation. But we talked about this the other day when he got signed, right?
Mhm.
And I was just like, Russ can be considered a goober, like a guy that's just trying to fit in at times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Russ's ability to be a good teammate is to just be himself.
Yeah.
And does it sound like he's starting to understand that?
I think he is. And you have to consider again the time in Denver. He had kind of the ball just handed to him in Denver. Now, ultimately,
To
he has
save
the
them.
ball right to save him. And now he has the ball handed to him again, but kind of in a different way. He's on a 1-year semi-prove-it deal. And if he's going to be given the keys to the car like this, then yeah, he's going to have to make good on that on some level if he wants to continue to play football. So I think he came across as genuine today. I think he realizes the situation he's in. He's not stupid. He's a very smart guy. He comes off that way, and he truly is that. So, yeah, I took what he said today as genuine.
That's all I needed to hear.
Thanks,
Yep.
Mo. Good seeing you.
Appreciate that. You too. See, and that's what I meant the other day by saying, you remember we talked about this. I said Russ can't be a goober, like trying to like tell jokes when he's not funny or trying to be a tough guy when he's not. Like, you're just Russ. That's good enough. Remember us talking about that?
I
Like,
do actually.
He just got to be himself. Like, that's the best version of Russell Wilson. It's just you, man. You ain't got to go to the club with the dudes if you don't want to do that. Now go to the house, have cookouts at your house and stuff like that. But we're not asking you to be the guy in the locker room. We're just asking you to be a really good football player. And that's all we really want.
You know, if you're not watching Southside Beat, that's on every day at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. That has Corey on the show. That's his thumb. His thumb occasionally makes an appearance as well. Chris Halleck is also on the show. Those are the individuals who cover the Steelers for us on a daily basis. They're the ones that are doing the grind. They're heading, to practices and press conferences and all that other stuff. They'll come at you with real live information. Me and Moan, we just have a good time.
We just having a real good time, DK. That's all we're doing, man.
Who's next? Who's
that's-
next? Snowman
yeah.
wants to know. Come on, Moan.
It's Russ. It's Russ.
Well,
And
he means. I think he
Oh.
means next edition.
next edition. Man, possibly Justin Fields. All signs point to Justin for me.
Well, somebody brought up here. Tell me what you think of this. They said,
right.
okay, you'd have to give up a second-round pick to get Fields. I think that's pretty much presumed.
You gonna give up? Ain't no way. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, but let's just say that it is. Okay, second-round pick. But he's also his following year. You can't look at him the way I mentioned Dwayne Haskins' situation earlier. You can't look at him from the following year standpoint because he's a fifth-year option. It's probably going to be around $25 million.
And see, that's the problem. That's why I can't give him a second rounder.
Yeah.
You telling me I got to get your player and I might also have to pick up his option because Russ is going to start this year. So, no. If anything, I think you see an approach where they may trade for a guy like him. And if they believe in Justin Fields, you do what Green Bay did and extend him out for a mid-range, like $12 to $15 million deal that's very cap friendly and team friendly if you believe he can be your guy moving forward. Now, that's Arthur Smith's decision, Coach Tomlin, Omar, and all the offensive coaches. But to tell me I got to give up a second-round pick for a one-year player?
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I hadn't thought of it that way. That's a really, really good point. I hadn't thought of it that way. But look, they haven't moved him to anybody else yet. Okay. And are they going to send him to Minnesota?
His pride.
But would they send him to Minnesota that needs a quarterback inside the division?
Division as a trade? Nah, I ain't giving up my trade picks. I ain't giving up my picks for an in-division team. No.
So, I don't know. I mean, there's something to be said for that here. Steeler girl not in on the Russ thing.
That's fair. But if he go win you Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Cleveland, you're going to love the heck out of him, Steeler girl. Winning cures all. Tiger Woods said that.
All of that's relative. It really is. It really, really is here. When we come back, we're gonna close out and take care of a little bit of business here.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do
that. Jake wants you to clarify this here Goober thing.
Goober to me is a guy that it's not a bad term. It's just, to me, it's just like, man, you don't have to be anything other than yourself. You ever met somebody that want to be a player but never has girls, or a guy that wants to, he was raised in the suburbs, right? And you see him trying to act hard and you're like, bro, you stay behind the gate.
Jeez.
Like somebody said it the other day, like Carlton Banks on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And I thought Carlton was a cool
Mm-hmm.
dude. But Carlton Banks on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was the best character when he was just being himself. And when he was doing a little dancing and all that, like, I'm not dissing him by saying this. When I say Russ needs to just be himself and not be a goober, like, just be you. I don't need you to be anything more than just a franchise quarterback that's just cool. Don't go out of your way to try to go to the club or go out. Like, if you don't wear Jordans and you wear penny loafers, dang it, just wear the penny loafers. Screw Jordans, okay?
Be who you are.
Be
or
who
Air
you
Force
are.
Ones and whatever.
And him being anything other than what Russell Wilson is makes him a goober to me. I ain't no diss. He's Carlton Banks and not Will Smith. But they're just as cool in real life. Just as cool. Don't think I'm dissing Russ at all. Not at all.
That goober thing's going to have to be addressed at some point.
It ain't a diss, though. You feel me?
No, I get that. But whoa, look what the boss just put up.
Yeah.
Well, 6,000 total views. And what that means, in case you're wondering, because you look up there and you see a 2,000, and that's the number of people that are in here currently. But that counts everybody who spent any amount of time in here over the course of the show here. I've been putting up 5997. 6,000. We just hit it, she said. There it is. I want to thank everybody for all the contributions and everything that came in over the course of the show. They continue to come in, gift memberships, and so forth. I apologize profusely if I didn't get them on the screen. I've been trying really hard. It's not easy, Moan.
I got to go, man. Let's just a few more, I promise you. All right. This one right here. And I like this one from Sean. Sean sent this earlier. It was actually 3:32 Central when he sent, "Hey, Mona DK, are the Steelers as an organization comfortable with lying during pressers, quarterbacks in the building, etc., or is it likely that Kenny Pickett's trade request caught them off guard?" Here's the thing about it, and I get upset with media people that want to ask the hard questions at times. They never gonna tell you the truth. You're gonna get some of the truth. But what we said as of late is what? Stop listening to what they say and watch what they do. Like, I think there was some truth in them saying, hey, yeah, Kenny's our guy, because you can't devalue Kenny. But when Russ comes available for $1.2 million, that ain't no lie. That's been business savvy to me.
Yeah, I think what gets conflated a lot, and I've noticed it maybe more with Steelers fandom than either of the other two teams in town, is they take everything that they hear as a prediction. Okay, so when Art Rooney says, we want Mason back, when he says we're prepared to continue doing business with Mason, what he's saying at that table to all of us who are in that room is what he believes in that moment. Okay, he's not making a prediction. He's not saying that if the Chiefs offer us Mahomes for a 7th rounder, no, I can't do that because we told everybody that the quarterback's already in this room, okay?
There we go.
I'm not comparing. You get the idea, though. Situations change. What you have to understand is that, look, I don't like the way the Mason stuff was handled by the Steelers. I think if you say we're prepared to do business with him, you at least make him a contract offer, and that didn't happen, and that's kind of okay? But overall, they're not making predictions. They're just telling you what they believe in that moment. And I'm sure that's what we're going to hear from them whenever they do get around to talking about this stuff, which is probably going to be at the owners' meetings.
Things change.
Mm-hmm.
Do they lie? Yeah, but they're asked public questions for a private business.
You answer it the way that works best for your business. Okay? You don't pour your guts out, but at the same time, you also don't want to just flat out lie. There's sports lies, and then there's lies. Okay.
Yeah.
I believe that in the moment that they're saying that the quarterback's under this roof, that's what they're thinking.
He was under contract.
He was. They had one under contract, and they had I believe at that point had already either were just about to lose Mitch Trubisky or had already lost him.
Yeah.
So, well, we're going to close today with this line from Turk.
Hold up. Go ahead. Keep that one. Todd just sent in another contribution and question. He goes, "Hello, guys. Honored to chat with you. Even in Kenny's wins, did he ever really look like he had the physical tools to be an NFL starting quarterback? To me, no. I thought he had good games. I thought he had good moxie about him at times, but I wasn't overly sold. I thought he did some good stuff. But you see the differences if you look at CJ Stroud in year 1 versus him in year 2.
And I'll offer something positive here. As you just did when I say that I think if I'm going to think about something good about Kenny on the way out, I'm going to think about the pass in Baltimore to Najee Harris running across his body there to win the game against a very good Ravens defense. He went down the field on that drive. Boom, 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 boom. And it wasn't fluky because he had a bunch of those in the fourth quarter. That tells you a lot about who he is and why he believes in himself.
Facts.
More than me and Moan might, more than you might, more than the Steelers might. And that's to his credit. That's not something I would knock him for.
And the same way that we like people used to get mad at Seven for holding on to the ball, he believed that he gonna always make a play, and it led to him getting injured and hit and stuff like that. But the payoff was there.
All right, guys, we will do this show again on Monday for reals.
We will. Turk, hey. I don't want to be saying I'm right.
Turk sucking up to the
said,
boss.
You called it the other day. You said if you were Kenny, you would be mad. Russ was never meant to be a backup. He just
no. Russ wasn't brought here for any kind of competition or anything like that. Wow, 63-13. All right, guys.
Joshua, thank you. I see you on that.
Thanks to everybody.
Too.
We will see you. We'll see you again on Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central.
Peace, good people. Hey, y'all be safe. Make it back to us on Monday. Have a random conversation. Buy somebody a drink. Call somebody and apologize. Hey, talk to somebody. Love each other. But at all costs, y'all make it back to us on Monday so we can do this again. Appreciate y'all, man.